difficult now to think of Sarajevo as a place of violence where people did really horrible things to each other because they belonged to the wrong ethnic group. But during the violent breakup of Yugoslavia in the early 90s, that's exactly what happened. Some of the worst fighting took place in historic Bosnia-Herzegovina, where Catholic Croats, Orthodox Christian Serbs, and Muslim Bosniaks fought each other for 3 years in a war of ethnic cleansing. In 1995, after 100,000 people had died, the United States forced the parties to accept a ceasefire known as the Dayton Accords. The deal created a weak centralized government in a state equally divided between Serbs on one side and Muslims and Croats on the other. The idea to ensure no one group got the upper hand. Well, since then, the international community has kept the place running with billions in aid money. The country's top authority is the Office of the High Representative, which is run by the US and the EU. Well, today we're going to talk to a group of Bosnians and ask them, can the country move beyond their ethnic divisions, or are they only doomed to get deeper? I'm Sami Zaidan. Welcome to Sarajevo. Welcome to the cafe. In the cafe today, we gathered a group of Bosnians who typically probably wouldn't sit down together. Veselin Gatalo, a Bosnian Serb novelist who lives in the city of Mostar, which remains divided mostly between Bosnian Croats and Muslim Bosniaks. Denisa Sarajlic, the director of the Sarajevo-based think tank Foreign Policy Initiative. She's worked as an advisor to the High Representative in Bosnia. Damir Nikšić, a Bosniak Muslim musician and painter who fled the country during the war. He taught fine arts in the United States before returning to Sarajevo. RADOMIR KEZUNOVIC, a veteran Bosnian Serb politician whose Democratic Party has 2 seats in the Parliament of Republika Srpska. That's one of the 2 separate entities that make up Bosnia-Herzegovina. SANJA MIHAJLOVIC, a Bosnian Serb who was evacuated to London after being shot by a Serb sniper when she was a child. She eventually returned to Sarajevo, where she's a security analyst. EMIR SULJAGIC, a survivor of the 1995 Srebrenica massacre, where Serbs killed 8,000 Bosnian Muslims. He's a top leader in the multi-ethnic Social Democratic Party and an education minister in one of the local governments. And BOJAN STANIC, the director of a basketball club in Mostar. He directed the presidential election campaign of a Bosnian Croat politician in last year's elections. All right, we're now in the cafe with our guests here. You know, the question which I want to ask you guys is, it's one country, but it has 3 presidents, 10 cantons, 2 entities. How on earth does it work?
And a district of Brčko.
And a district of Brčko, lest I forget. Does it work?
This is the only country with unresolved national issue. You know that democracy is leadership of the majority. It means that's the leadership of major nation. In Serb Republic, Serbs are a major nation. Here in Bosnia-Herzegovina Federation, there are Muslims, Bosnians, who are a major nation. They can decide for the others. That's the problem of this country.
Yeah, well, that's the concept. That's an old concept of nationalism and state nation.
No, it's apparently it's no longer enough to win a democratic election in this country. I don't know. I mean, maybe we should introduce a completely new paragraph into our constitution saying that if you want to win an election, you have to have so many Serbs, so many Croats, and so many Bosniaks voting for you. It's apparently not enough if you win an election in a landslide, in a democratic, transparent, and fashion. So I don't really know what's the problem. Look at the scoreboard. The scoreboard says 300,000 Social Democratic Party. End of story. We're a multi-ethnic party. Serbs voted for us, Croats voted for us, Bosniaks voted for us. Croats voted for us where they're a minority, Serbs voted for us where they're in minority. Bosniaks in the RS voted for us because they're a minority. So come on.
So you want the rule of majority and the end of the
No, I
ethnic
want a democracy. I want a democracy where it's enough for me to run for office, win in a democratic and transparent fashion for everybody to see, and then not to be asked if I'm Bosniak enough or if I had Serb votes enough or Croat votes enough. End of story. Come on. This is a democracy. We voted for this. I mean, if you don't want this, let's go back to 1992. Because if you don't like this, the obvious way is back to 1992, or actually November 1995. Yeah, if you want that, go ahead.
That's the way of thinking.
Well, okay, let's go back to November 1995 and see who's where.
Can you tell me if you're multi-ethnic, why didn't you have three candidates for presidency?
It's party policy. We had Bosnia candidates, we had Bosnia candidates, we had Serb candidates, we had Croat candidates. What do you want? You want to run SDP's policy? What do you want? You want to tell us what to do?
Maybe you are only Croatian party.
Say again?
Maybe you are only
No, we are
Croatian
not.
party.
No, we are not. No, we are not only Croatian. We are not only Serb. We are not only Bosniak party.
Why didn't you have three candidates?
Because we decided we wanted to have one. What's the matter?
Problem is that Croats are the minority.
I'm going to try and jump in here, guys, just because Veselin started this. Let me ask you, is there anything wrong in having, if I could call it, a normal democratic system, which I think is what EMIR is trying to say, where it's rule of majority, rather than ethnic quotas?
Before you answer, the rule of majority is not the rule of majority that you would interpret in other countries, because we don't have a single majority here. And if you present it as the rule of majority, then that actually completely distorts the actual picture, because we don't have, nobody here, I think, and I don't think that's what EMIR was saying, wants the rule of majority. The idea here is that if you win votes, that you proportionally get representation that reflects the number of votes that you want. And that's what EMIR is saying. But the rule of majority, I think, is something that we generally should avoid, and maybe even in asking the question, maybe change the way that we are trying to get to something that...
This is the closest to what consociational democracy of sorts. And it's got to be enough. Again, as I said, if nobody, anybody who doesn't like this should know that the alternative is going back to November 1995 before we signed the Dayton Accords.
No, I mean, I don't agree. I think that a person can feel as a minority or as a majority, and it's psychological. Maybe I'm a Bosniak, a Muslim, by nationality. I used to be Muslims by nationality in former Yugoslavia. And still, I can feel like a minority in my own city here because I don't listen to ethnic or folk music. I like jazz, blues, and rock and roll. And I don't see much of the jazz, blues, and rock and roll on the TV. On none of the TV. It's like I really feel like I'm a minority. So, in many terms, in many ways, you can feel like minority. If you're vegetarian, you can feel like a minority. If you don't smoke, if I'm recently I'm non-smoker, I feel like minority.
Coffee,
if I don't, I feel
felt
like
that.
Minority. So
Let me back up then and ask the question this way then. If we're getting if it's getting murky over the word of majority, let's put it this way. Dayton, the peace agreement, established this ethnic-based political system with a kind of quota that provides a balance of power for each of the three communities. Is that outdated?
I'm in Mostar. I'm living in Mostar. That's divided town. That's one of few multi-ethnic towns in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Sarajevo is not. Banja Luka is not. And that's the paradoxal.
Just to clarify, it's divided between Bosnian
Bosniaks
Croats
and
and
Croats.
Bosniaks being the
And
Bosnian
I'm Serb.
Muslims.
We still have some different opinions, some discussions. Sarajevo, Banja Luka, or Foča, or some cities in Western Herzegovina, they're just like Northern Korea. Everybody thinks the same. But just because the division, Mostar is still multi-ethnic, multicultural, and tolerant more than other towns. But everybody speaks about Mostar as a part of problem of this country. No, Mostar is part of solution of this country. This country has too much history for one flag. That's the truth. We have 3 different public meaning here in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Croats read dnevni list, am I right? And večernje novosti. Serbs are reading nezavisne novine and Glas Srpske. Bosniaks read Oslobođenje and dnevni avaz. We have 3 different public meaning. It's a big performance and fat lie when you say that you have some Bosnia and Herzegovina public meaning, especially Bosnian public meaning. And that's the problem of this country, misunderstanding of the situation here.
Wow, I'm blown away by the statement. This country has too much history for one flag.
Now, hold on a second. Mostar being part of the solution for anything. Here's what Mostar solution actually means. It means first cleansing one of the 3 nations, then attempting to cleanse another, undergoing a year-long siege, committing war crimes, crimes against humanity, taking down the old bridge over the Neretva River, and institutionalizing apartheid. That's the sort of, if that's the part of any solution. And one more thing, I mean, to suggest that Sarajevo is like North Korea, where everybody thinks the same, is offensive and doesn't reflect, and flies completely in the face of reality.
All right.
And then hold on a second. Sarajevo is the place where you have the largest space for any kind of debate. The kinds of debate that I personally took part in over the last couple of months are impossible to have in Mostar, in Banja Luka, anywhere in this country except in Sarajevo. So please give me a break.
Okay, what I think you're advocating, Vesselin, I would love to bring in Bojan, who is a Bosnian Croat, into this, but what I think you're advocating is it's not the right time to try and think about breaking down the ethnic-based system because the country is an ethnically divided country, right?
Yes, Sarajevo
right.
was multi-ethnic before Sarajevo was unified.
I'd love to hear your perspective, of course, because you're involved in politics,
Yes.
you're involved in sports, you're involved in, I mean, all the really tricky stuff in this country.
Yeah, it's
And you're a Bosnian Croat.
Yes, I'm a Bosnian Croat because I was born in central Bosnia in Zenica, but I now live in Mostar, so you can call me Herzegovinian Croat. It doesn't matter the place where you're born, it doesn't matter which nationality you are. Only it does matter is how willing you are to give your best to find solution in this country.
Is the solution moving beyond an ethnic-based political system? One president?
No, we must
One,
agree that
not
we
two
are an
entities.
ethnical country with all our diversities, but our diversities are our benefit. They are not an issue. Everyone who implies it as an issue is the enemy of this country. It
Is
doesn't matter
Mostar
is it coming from outside or the inside.
So is Mostar a divided city, or is it a model of harmony?
Mostar at this moment is not a model of harmony, but it should be in a better way every day and day, because I can give an example from the youth. The youth don't have problem with Mostar. The problem is only in the heads of the elder people, the ones who see benefit out of 2 divisions in Mostar. They are the ones who are making problems, and most of them are involved with certain political parties.
All right, Radomir, I want to bring Radomir in this, because you're from the other entity, Republika Srpska. You've got your own parliament, you have your own leadership. It seems we have 2 opinions here. Some saying it shouldn't be an ethnically based political system and country. Others saying it should be. How do you see things
The
in...
only possible way in Bosnia to do anything is to make consensus about that. How to do the constitutional changes.
What do you think then?
I mean, it's possible. We have amendment number 1, we will have a number 2, number 3, and so on. Next one I know what is the number 2, is Sejdić-Finci amendment. Next one will be that we have consensus about that, and something it's absolutely possible to be reached in Bosnia. That's my personal view.
That it's possible to get beyond the ethnic division.
I think, but that direction, direction.
Without
from this-
compulsories, without anything
Okay.
that will come from the outside, that should be our job. Our job in Bosnia.
Sejdić-Finci are okay. It's like 2 more nations or 2 more ethnicities. Shall we go for the citizen, or shall we include Roma and Jewish nation, Hebrews, as constitutional people in Bosnia and Herzegovina. That would be beautiful. Because this would be the first country in the world with Roma population as a constitutional people. Now, this is the one way, one road. Shall we introduce these other two nations or two ethnicities as a constitutional people of this country, or shall we quit the entire concept and become citizens of the country? So these are two roads.
But any sort of initiative that's been done so far on sort of bringing up constitutional dialogue amongst people hasn't been really taken well either by society or the politicians. I think the last initiative was Circle 99 with their sort of proposal of the amendments to the constitution, and we all saw it in the newspapers, and we just went to another page.
Why?
Exactly. So
Why? I mean, it's your country. Is it that people are tired of the question, that they're like, whatever, we'll just continue with the status quo?
I feel that we are not speaking about the same country.
Yeah.
You know, don't be so naive. Every party in this country is national party. Every magazine, every newspaper in this country is a national newspaper.
I don't think it's that.
No.
I know that.
You know what's the funniest thing about what Mr. Gatalo is saying? He's saying to me, basically, I don't care. Yeah, don't worry about people like me. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. I don't care what you think of yourselves. But your first and primary identity, your first and primary identity is that of being a Muslim or a Bosniak. Well, I'm sorry. Again, I come from a social democratic party. We're multi-ethnic, multinational party. We have Serbs, Croats, and Bosniaks both in our membership and in our leadership. So I'm sorry, but what you're doing is you're telling me that as long as you and I live in this country, in your eyes, I can be nothing else but a Muslim or a Bosniak. No, that's what you're saying. You're saying every party is a national party.
Yes, it is.
Well, you see, that's exactly what you're doing. You're telling me you cannot be a social democrat because you're a Muslim.
Can I say something?
No, you cannot. You have to say that. Okay. I'm sorry.
Now let's
You've said that already.
That's Northern Korea syndrome.
That's the way of social democracy.
Northern Korea, just like I said.
Well, I'm sorry, but you said that every party in this country is national party.
Yes.
That means I come from a Bosniak party, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry, but who are you to tell me which of my identities is more important to me?
You can call me
No,
citizen. You are my minister.
You're basically saying you are only what I tell you you are. You can be a social democrat, you can be a communist, you can be whatever. But in my mind, in my eyes, you are first and foremost Bosnian Muslim.
I never
I don't
denied.
want to be Bosnian Muslim first.
Please.
What are
We
you
have
for
so
the
many
first?
identities here in
You are
this
not
country.
Bosnian Muslim for the first,
Can
but
I
what
tell
are you?
something?
Bosnian.
For
You mean
Christ's sake.
citizen?
I'm a Bosnian of
You
I'm
mean
a
citizen?
citizen of this country. And I'm entitled by the Constitution of this country to express my identity in any way I want. That's what the Constitution of this country guarantees me. And the Constitution of this country guarantees me that that I shouldn't be called, shouldn't be Muslim first. That I should be whatever I want to be first.
Denise, you're also a Bosnian Muslim. Do you agree with that?
I do actually agree with that. I think we should all have our own choice. We should all make our own choice how we identify and what we identify with. And if we want to be a minority by choice, as Dali was saying, whether because you're a vegetarian or because you don't drink coffee, that should be our choice. This should not be a constitutional provision.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the system that we have. And in line with what Radomir was saying, the only way to do that is to change the constitution. And I think, just to give you a little bit of background of what has happened and why everybody is referring so passionately to the Sejdić and Finci decision, the European Court on Human Rights has ruled that basically our system violates human rights because it doesn't allow anybody who doesn't declare themselves as Croat, Serbs and Bosniaks the right to fully participate in the political system. So it's not, the decision is actually not as limited to only allow Mr. Sejdić or Mr. Finci, a Jew or a Roma to run for the elections. The system is basically saying that the whole concept, the whole ethnic concept is actually racist. It actually uses the word racist. It equates the ethnic discrimination with actually racial discrimination. So not only if you're one of the 17 minorities that we have, but even if you're, like Emir was saying, or if I wanted to run for the presidency as a Bosnian, or if somebody who's father is a Serb, a mother is a Croat, wants to run for presidency. We would not be able to do that unless we voluntarily declare as one of the three
And tomorrow
constituent
we will have
peoples.
Chinese people becoming the citizens of this country who will need to declare themselves Muslims, Serbs or Croats. And they are Chinese.
There are more Chinese here than Serbs.
They are
That's
Chinese.
very funny. That's really funny.
Okay.
That's true.
No, that's very funny. That's
You
seriously
know,
funny.
like at this point, you know, you start you're giving only three options to people, and those three options are ethnic options. Ethnic means, you know, genes and everything. I mean, ethnicity and race and everything, and it's racist. It's like Jim Crow. We have Jim Crow laws here.
The problem is that they cannot elect in the Republic of Srpska as a Bosniak
But
member
that's
of
in the
president.
constitution. We need
Yes.
to change the constitution
And
first.
to change the election law. The problem is in the concept as well, that when some certain person can declare himself or herself in the morning as a Croat and in the evening as a Bosniak.
What is it that you fear will be taken away from you on a personal level if the ethnic-based system goes? What is it that you will lose tomorrow?
That system will give chance or opportunity for majority to come to the government.
Interesting, because she said majority doesn't exist.
But
So
we didn't
tell me, what is a majority and how that will affect you?
Say majority in federation are Bosniaks, and we can see by the recent act of OHR, they declare their
The government of federation.
government of federation. He made them legal.
Illegal.
They made them legal by his decision only, but they were illegal by the way they got elected.
What you're saying is you fear Bosniak domination if the ethnic-based quota system
federation.
goes
Yes.
in the federation.
But if you
Which-
remove the ethnic component, then nobody will be the majority. There will be no ethnic group to be the majority if you remove the
You
ethnic.
think that you can just wipe out 1,000 years of history just like that?
No, I'm not talking about wiping history. I'm talking. I understand what he means.
The point is that HDZ is not in the government for the first time after 1995, which is great, which is a leap in the functioning of the democratic system of this country.
You're having a go at his party now, aren't you?
Because
Just so-
they
just
are
so
a
we're
bunch
clear
of,
for the
no, because
international-
they are a bunch of crooks.
There is a
no,
silent
hold on.
missile
They are
going.
a bunch of crooks. Okay, they're crooks, and somehow this bunch of crooks has taken monopoly over the Croat national interest, so-called Croat national interest, and again, by calling the federation government illegal, Mr. Stanic is just expressing his opinion. The facts.
It's not my
No,
opinion.
I'm sorry. That's your opinion.
No, it's
and
not
more-
opinion.
if it wasn't
If you
your
can
opinion,
count, it is not
if it
opinion.
wasn't your opinion, we would not be having this conversation. There would be no government of the federation. Here are the facts for you. There is a government. It's legal and it's working.
It's
End
legal
of
only
story.
by the act of the OHR.
There is a government. It's legal.
I say,
it's
there is
legal.
a government.
It's passing decisions. It's proposing laws. It's working. It's functioning. Believe me, I know.
Okay, just hold that thought for a second because we do need to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Welcome back to the cafe. It's a rainy day here in Sarajevo, but I can tell you it's getting a little heated up in here. Let's pick up from where we left off. Veselin, as a Serb, we heard the answer from a Croat of Bosnia-Herzegovina. As a Serb in a divided Muslim Croat town, let me ask you that question. Do you fear the same things that he fears from a non-ethnic based system?
I see that. I see that every day. You know.
So are things getting better or worse?
In Serb Republic, Serbs are choosing representatives to Croats and Bosniaks. Here in Federation, Bosniaks are choosing representatives to Croats and Serbs. That's quite clear. And lifetime of the country, of the state, in this area is 5 to 50 years. And nationalism in this country is the way to preserve their way of living. That's why they were fighting, not for territory, not for power. And people are afraid, with reason. I was in the war. I saw what people were ready to do to each other. We are not fish. I cannot forget it. And they are afraid with reason. In the state where president of the country is opening McDonald's, you cannot take it seriously. Come on.
What should he be opening? A shish kebab?
No,
He opened
why
McDonald's, so
for
what?
Christ's
Yeah,
sake?
why not? I mean, what, so
Maybe
what?
the mayor or some
So,
artist.
Why
but
he
the
opened McDonald's
president-
again? What should have he opened? He was there for the opening of McDonald's. I mean,
Come on.
what? Come on, what?
He has a point.
Come on, what?
It is really,
No,
really
seriously,
big.
come on, what? What? He should have opened what? Nuclear reactor? Come on, what? He was there for the opening of the McDonald's. So,
I know, but it's
but
so,
yeah, come on, what's the matter with
new
it? The fact that it's an
colonial.
American firm?
know.
Is that
No,
a
but
matter?
it's,
Is that what?
I know, but
try
I
to
know.
be good with Americans, with everybody, and just performance for
Maybe it's
foreigners.
cool. Okay, I don't know. It's 2011. Maybe it's
Yeah,
cool.
so what?
Well, why can I just
Maybe
ask
it's
a
cool.
question? Why is it not okay for the president to open McDonald's, but it's okay for presidents to go and bless the, go to church openings and all that and appear in this? Why? I mean, I
No,
seriously
it's
don't.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
this is something I don't
it might be
understand.
okay. Maybe
Why is it okay that every bridge opening,
what, he
every school opening, there is either a priest or imam? Why is that okay?
I mean,
and it's not okay for president to open?
there's like two kinds of party. There's two kinds of presidents. Some of the presidents have, just a week ago walked out of the
President is from his
cantonal
party,
court.
that's
No. A president of a party walked out of a cantonal court where he was indicted for crime, for organized crime involving the privatization of internet.
Yes.
The case is not over yet. Right. So
Just
there's
like
one
your-
model of president.
Just like your president
It
is
never-
for
I'm sorry,
racket.
I'm sorry. That's you need to have some evidence for it. And what you're saying is libelous. Is libelous. So no, seriously.
Persecution
What
is,
you are saying is libelous. You may
well,
end up
you
in
know.
court. So be very careful what you say.
He's
This is going to be
threatening me.
aired.
He's
No,
threatening
No, I'm
me
not
for fight.
threatening
He's
you.
speaking
What
about
you-
war.
What you are
He's
saying,
speaking about 92.
What you're
Come on.
saying is libelous.
not
What
way
you're
for
saying
speaking.
may bring. It may end up in charges. So
Okay,
be careful
let
what
me-
you're saying. Be careful
me
what
to
you're
the
saying.
prison.
Seriously, because what you're talking about, you have
If
no
I-
evidence.
if you
There's
say
no evidence
something
whatsoever
here.
for it. There's no evidence whatsoever for it. People like you know who.
Somebody
that-
call the police.
Huh?
Somebody call the
Well,
police.
it's not my job. Seriously, it's not my job. Don't worry about it.
No, yes, but you are the chief. Come on.
I'm the chief.
Do it. Emir, you have been talking about, if it's not this, it's 92 or 95.
Yeah.
Do you seriously think, just to clarify what 92 and 95 means for our audience?
Oh, I know.
that means
I know
war?
much better than either one of them what 95 means. I was in Srebrenica saying 95.
I was in Mostar in 90.
Okay, good. I know very well what 95 means,
You are
and I'm
survivor
telling you,
of the
and I'm telling you,
Srebrenica
and I'm telling you this:
genocide.
the dynamic. So this guy and this guy telling me that I'm Bosnian Muslim first, and that there's nothing else in the world that I can be.
be, but
No,
everyone
hold on a
speak,
second.
come on.
Hold on a
Stop
second. I'll let you speak. So them telling me that I can be nothing else but Bosnian.
Who said so?
You said
put
it.
that
You said
to
it.
yourself.
No, you said it. I'm sorry. Come on.
Come on. He knows
You said
better
it.
than me what I said.
Yes, of course. You said that every party in this country is national. I come
Yes,
from a party
yes, of
that you
course.
say is Bosniak party. Therefore, I'm Bosniak first. Is there anything wrong in this logic? So what I'm saying.
What kind of logic,
So what
for
I'm
Christ's
saying.
sake?
What I'm saying is, you don't like this. The alternative is not anybody going away from this country. Let me tell you that right away.
The alternative is war?
The alternative is war. And
Sanja.
nobody's going away. Nobody's
No
going
way.
away.
No way.
The alternative is
They want to input that thesis because their concept is wrong.
Whose
They want-
concept?
Your concept is wrong.
Social democratic or Bosniak?
No. I didn't
or
say so.
Muslim,
Your-
or what
by your
concept?
person.
My personal concept
Your
is
personal
wrong.
concept is wrong.
And what is
because
my personal concept? Please do enlighten me.
putting someone else the words that no one ever said?
I'm sorry. Did he say that,
You
that all
have some
parties in
fears.
Bosnia are national?
Your fears are your problem, please. If you have fears,
No.
don't
You're
put
getting
them
personal
inside.
now. You're getting
Social
personal
democrats.
now. You're
They
getting
have
personal
their
now.
social
You stop
democrats.
while you're ahead.
All right,
Seriously,
let's
stop while
jump
you're
in there.
ahead.
We haven't had a lot from this lady here, Sanja. And you're involved with security studies.
Yes.
From a security perspective, is this country getting better or is it heading towards war? As we're hearing that fear at least.
I know what Emil is saying, and I know this is coming from him personally, not from SDP or any other background. I think.
What I said
No, I'm sorry. No, hold on a second. The
Personal.
president of the Social Democratic Party said in December last year that if Milorad Dodik continued talking about referendum,
Social Democrat.
we are going to have to stop him because if we don't, people far more radical will. So this is not something I'm saying on.
All right, let's hear her analyze this then.
I think in terms of talking about war, I think it's technically not possible, and I think there'll be some smaller scale conflict, but not war as we know it from before. In that sense.
Hold on a second. I mean, it's not unnatural. You know, if you stand up, you'll see a hill up there.
Yes.
And it's, you know, from where I'm sitting, it's already unnatural enough that this is Serbia. You know,
Yes.
this is hundreds of kilometers into my country, and it's Serbia. It's a completely different cultural space. It's a completely different political space. It's a completely different, you know, it's completely different. You know, you take a look at everything else, everything. You know, education system, all of it.
I agree.
So, as if that is not bad enough. As if that itself is not bad enough. We're supposed to sit idly by while somebody takes 49% of my country away somewhere else?
No.
Not happening.
No, I agree fully. I agree fully.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I agree fully.
That's
but
what I'm saying. And,
I think
and
the
when
war-
you say there is no potential for violence, let me just remind you
there is potential,
Okay.
but I think smaller scale potential than what we went through. I think.
I don't see that way. I mean, there's some. Excuse me. One second.
Everyone who is announcing any kind of war in Bosnia is something what is not serious. I'm absolutely against of it. It's absolutely not any option for
Serbs
all of
are
us in
against it,
Bosnia.
therefore
there
there
is
will be no
option.
war, right?
Excuse me. I was silent when you were working.
Let's hear from
No
Radomir.
options with the war in Bosnia at all. I'm absolutely sure about that. And this is one thing. Another one, this is not Serbia on the hill. This is the Republic of Srpska.
No, it's Serbia.
No, this is not Serbia. This is the Republic of Srpska, sovereign part of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
What part? Sovereign part?
Sovereign part of Bosnia and
There can
Herzegovina.
be no two sovereign parts of a country.
Sovereign part of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
You know what sovereignty is?
Excuse
Do you know
me.
what sovereignty is?
Excuse me.
Sovereignty.
I was listening to you.
Sovereignty.
I was
You're talking
listening.
about the sovereign Republic of Srpska.
Sovereignty
Okay,
of-
let's.
You,
let-
I'll
let-
repeat.
he
I'll
knows
repeat.
better
Please,
than
please.
anybody here.
One moment.
Sovereign.
Can I finish my
Okay,
sentence?
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Just call him.
May I finish?
Please go ahead.
I was talking about Bosnia, speaking about Dayton Agreement. Dayton Agreement, we have 12 annexes, isn't it? One country, two entities, three people. One of these entities is Mr. Republic of Srpska, internationally recognized.
You are way off the
If
mark.
you want to say that the Republic of Srpska is not internationally recognized
Of course
during the
it's not.
Dayton,
Of
you're
course it's
absolutely
not.
wrong.
Of course it's not.
That's why
Of course it's not.
we here on the hills, this is not Serbia. This is Republic of Srpska, entity and part of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I like to hear.
And whoever is want to say that it is possible war in Bosnia, he did not know what we are speaking about.
Okay, this is
I'm
very
absolutely sure
interesting,
I
actually.
think one of the only possibilities that we are already gearing up towards is economic stagnation.
I think
That will
there is, yes.
eventually
Speaking about
get bigger and bigger and bigger,
I
and
think that
We never
there
lived
might
better
be
than
this
before
kind.
the war. Come on.
I think that there might be this kind of war because there's so many banks, international banks here, and we are in debts. You know, like most of us are in debts. We have, loans and everything, and others are girants. You know, and I think that the Bosnian and Herzegovinians' next war will be that we are going to make a fake war and shoot each other and burn these banks and data just in order to get little,
Like a Hollywood production.
Yeah, like some sort of, just to
If I
kick
could-
out the banks.
I can
and-
come back
and
to-
debts.
To Radomir, you were talking about war is not a possibility.
No.
Then what is is there an alternative or is it status
Yes,
quo?
there is only alternative. I was talking all the time about that. The only alternative is to find a consensus inside of Bosnia and Herzegovina with enough tolerances to find a way how to do it.
Let me ask
And
this question.
I said to you,
Would-
the only ways, step by step, in the constitutional changes under consensus inside of Bosnia. This is something what is real. This is something what is possible. And then this is the only possible way for Bosnia at all.
Do you think that your constituency, the Serbs in Republika Srpska, the Bosnian Serbs, I should say, in Republika
Bosnia at all.
Srpska, would they accept, do you see a stage where they would accept one country without two entities?
Why? Why not? Why and why not?
Why? Because everyone says it's not functioning. Life
Why?
is paralyzed,
I
right?
said
Economic stagnation.
Economy will tell the
Why
last
not?
word.
Why not? It is very possible. In what way, in which future? I cannot anticipate that. But from my point of view, it is something that is possible, but not in the forthcoming very near
Maybe
future.
Sanja has now. You're a Serb as well, but you're
No, well, I am by name, but I don't really proclaim myself to be a Serb.
okay.
So I'm just.
No, she's also Bosnian. She lives in Sarajevo, you know.
She has no
No,
choice.
it's like North Korea, you know.
Maybe she is the model then of the future.
In this country, cosmopolitanism is when you support somebody else's nationalism. That's cosmopolitanism in this country. Especially if you support Bosnian nationalism. You are automatically cosmopolitan.
I used to be a lot more tolerant, but I have to say the past 4 years living back here in Sarajevo has increased my intolerance of nationalism. That's just one thing, and that reflects bad on me, because I've become extremely intolerant of people kind of nationalistic views. But I'll tell you one success story, and because we touched upon the fact that I work in this kind of security sector business. One success story was the unification of our armed forces. Who would have thought that?
I noticed no one's brought up the recent cases we've had of war crime suspects being handed over. Is that history for everyone?
No, of course it's not.
No.
Come on, I mean, it's not like, come
They
on.
should
It's
be
like,
arrested.
It
like-
But at
It's
the
very
same time,
alive.
we saw pictures of people celebrating here in Sarajevo, and we saw pictures of people who looked like they were mourning in parts of Republika Srpska, right? There was that.
And then in Belgrade, we saw people walking around the streets and saying, "We're actually really pleased this happened."
I think it's about time to, to have, as a public. I mean, the country where the generals are superstars is a lame country. I mean, it's a lame country. It's like, Franco and Generalissimo and stuff like that. I hate that. And I think that it's
Guevara was
about
much
time
smoother.
to give more space to beautiful people, nice
What about
people,
where the High
young
Commissioner
people.
is the superstar?
Huh?
Where the High Representative is the superstar.
No, not the politicians. I mean, every country where politicians are superstars is a lame country. It's like, Stalin style or whatever, Khomeini style, stuff like that. I don't like that. I like normal people to be superstar. I like talented people to be superstar. I like people who work hard for their life, and to do people who make extraordinary things in life, nice poetry, nice songs, whatever, nice houses, whatever. I like that.
Every one of us has so many sub-entities. I don't want to choose priorities. I cannot choose between am I male or am I Serb or am I Herzegovinian. Everything is so important to me. I'm not Bosnian, not at all. My country could be called, if you ask myself, Serbia and Herzegovina, Croatia and Herzegovina, or Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'll always be Herzegovinian. Lifetime of the country, just like I said, is between 5 to 50 years. Nations are older.
Would you accept?
I was born in Yugoslavia. After that, I had Croat Republic, Herceg Bosna, I had Bosnia Herzegovina. I was always male, heterosexual, married. No, I wasn't married.
That can change.
Come on. I like dogs. I'm Boli. Every one of my sub-entities is so precious, is so important to me. I don't want anybody to make me Bosnian or Bosnian Orthodox or whatever. I am what I am. Just like I said, if you deny any of my sub-entities, it would finish wrong.
Like you do mine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
course.
I mean,
I am what I
That's
am.
precisely what
That's
you've been doing
exactly
to
what
me.
you've been
That's what
doing.
you've precisely what
I
you've
was
been
speaking
saying
about
here.
your party. In
No,
your
no.
party,
Well,
you
I'm
just
sorry.
you can be just performer, just like the majority in parties are.
Performer.
say-
What does that mean?
Just like you are performing that, for example, Croats choosing Croat representative.
Again,
just performance.
fair and democratic and transparent elections. If you have a
It's
problem,
just-
wait
you're just
4 years,
using democracy
wait 4
for
years,
national
run
purposes.
again, run for office, hope Sejdić and Finci is implemented in the meantime because you're a Serb in the federation. What can I do?
But in the meantime, I'm broke. I don't have. I have 20 cents on my card, Visa card. I'm completely broke. I couldn't pay the taxi when I got here, and I don't have any more credits on my phone. So I'm broke. How about that? You are politicians. Show me the money. Make me do something. I mean, for whatever. You want better country? I will paint you better country. But let's first make that painting. And let's first order that thing. Let's spend some money on that. You know, put the money where your mouth is, like they say in the States. Put your money there. If you want better society, invest in a better society. Finance these meetings with these guys playing rock and roll, whatever, because we are doing this with our own money. And I can do that in any country in the world, even in some desert, in anarchy, on anarchy level. So what do I have from this country? Nothing. I never got a penny from this country. From any politicians, I never got a penny. I don't care about country. I care about people and society. And if we want to talk about politics and politicians, I want to talk about money.
All right.
That's it.
I started this discussion by asking the question of, is this current system working, right? And I think everybody agrees it's not working.
It's working for them.
All right, but it's not working in the way that everyone thinks is the best scenario, right? If I come back here in 5 years, will we have figured out what the next stage is, or will we still be having this discussion?
Yeah, but you're bogged down with prejudices on every corner that you turn around. I heard your statement, Veselin, earlier, when you said that I don't have a choice where I live. Of course I have a choice.
Of course. You
Of
cannot
course I
deny
have.
it.
I have a choice. I can go
Lucky
back
you.
to London, I can go to New York, I
Me
can
too,
go...
I have a choice.
But I was born in Sarajevo and it was my choice to come back.
Of course.
And I'm in no way a minority here because I don't consider myself the general, psychological as a minority.
Lucky you.
But it's not just me. I have loads of friends who are my age
attitude,
who,
yes.
Lucky
who
them.
think in a similar way, and it's not that sort of black and white as I think people keep
Course
painting
not.
it here.
Of course not.
What is prevalent in our society is prejudice.
Yes.
And prejudice is something that keeps gearing up consistently all the time through politics, through media, through UNIVER.
We have
so many different
prejudices.
inputs into this.
Prejudices about Herzegovina, about West Herzegovina, about Republika Srpska.
But okay, hang on,
All of prejudices.
I don't have a prejudice, but you told me a prejudice,
Nobody knows.
you just said it.
Your prejudice about her
knows who is living in Sarajevo. You don't know how many people are living here.
Okay,
what
fair
kind
enough.
of national
That's the lack
structure
of
the
that's
people.
the lack of the
I know so many people with bad experiences from Sarajevo.
Likewise, I was.
Croats and Serbs and
Vesely, likewise.
I know.
The good thing though is that we don't have two schools under one
About
roof.
Mostar, about any other town, about Republika Srpska, about Banja Luka.
You know, we don't send Croat kids and Serb kids to separate shifts when they go to school. We put them all together. You know, so I'm really happy that you come from this democratic powerhouse, which still has apartheid, here to preach, to give us moral lessons. I'm talking about I'm talking about where they both come from, in the canton that they both come from. There are two schools under one roof, and all precautions are taken so that Croat and Bosniak kids don't even meet each other when they go to school. In the RS, every school has its own saint, even though there are Muslim kids going to those schools. The names of Orthodox saints are the names of the schools, even though Bosnian children go to those schools. But we don't have that. But we don't have that problem. Even though we are North Korea, but we don't have that problem. We really don't have that problem.
In Sarajevo.
Exactly, we don't have that problem. Our kids go all to one school, to the same school. We don't have these. We don't have. I don't know. No schools are named after Prophet Muhammad, or
Those children in your school, as you said, have possibility of choice.
Of course.
To learn Croatian language, Serbian language.
What language?
Croatian language, Serbian language.
As far as I know,
Yes.
the curricula that is being taught in Sarajevo is common for the entire federation, except for those cantons who opted out and use the curricula from the neighboring country. Because apparently you and I cannot understand each other, and the only way we can understand each other is when we speak English. So I'm really happy for it. I'm happy for you both. Huh?
Which language do you
I
speak?
speak Bosnian.
You cannot speak Bosnian. You can speak only Bosnian.
Again, see, this is again the same thing. He can
This
tell
is
me
the
what
reason
language I can
of
speak.
majority.
No, hold a second. Hey, hold on a second.
Can you recognize
What gives
Bosnia?
you the right
Of
to
course.
tell me
Bosnian language
what's
is
the
different.
name of my language?
If-
I mean,
okay,
what you're saying is racism, my friend. No, you
What
were
I'm
saying,
saying is that I
what you're
have
saying
possibility
is
to
that you
speak
have the right
Herzegovinian.
to tell me. What
I
you're
have
saying is
possibility.
you use all the possibilities you want, but what you're saying is that you have the right to tell me what's the name of my language. That's called racism.
Okay. Can I speak
Okay.
Herzegovinian?
You speak whatever you want.
No.
I don't care.
No.
I don't care as long as I understand what you're saying, and what you're saying now is racism.
It's Herzegovinian. It's not Bosnian, it's not Croatian, it's not
This
Serbian,
is-
it's not Montenegrin.
So
it's
is my language is not Bosnian?
That's
What is
historically
my language?
Bosnia.
the case.
You're fascist, man. You are 101 fascist.
Come on,
Huh?
Chauvinist.
No, you're a fascist. I don't deny you the right to call your language whatever you want.
Okay.
You know, do you understand that? Can that fit in there?
All right, this has been a really fascinating discussion in one sense. We didn't reach a resolution. We didn't reach the solution, but we reached.
We had a good point.
His resolution
No,
is
his
still
resolution is
paint
kumbaya.
the
Yeah,
picture
exactly.
of the
Paint the
perfect
pictures and, you
Yeah,
know,
the good
play
point.
kumbaya.
And I like that. We
Of
should
course,
have-
that's a blueprint. I mean, first you start with the idea. It's a conceptual, no?
I think we
Damn
should
it.
have a painting.
Paint a picture for the
Pay
new
me to
political
paint you
order
brand
for
new
this country.
Pimp
Maybe
this
then-
country. I'll paint this
Paint
country.
this country. I think I
Please,
like that.
you know, paint
I
it
think we
all
can
up.
end on that one. Thank you very much. This has been a fascinating discussion. Well, next week in Sarajevo, we'll be talking to Bosnia's youth and asking them, are they happy with the way the country's going? Do they think they have a future here? See you then.
No,
I think it gives you a good taste of the overall picture of you know, how people feel and where they stand, and we tend to blame a lot of these things on political elites and the system, but clearly this isn't just about the system and about elites. There's real very strong beliefs and very strong feelings.
You know, some people have a custom to listen only their opinion, not to listen to each other, not to listen to the others. If you come with opposite opinion, you are automatically Nazi, fascist. It's not way of thinking, not way of speaking. It's not dialogue at all.
You can do business with someone who is talking normally and who is willing to accept your points. With someone who isn't willing to accept your points, there is no discussion because there is no business.
From my point of view, so high degree of loud expressions is not a real picture of Bosnia that we have today.
What I was trying to tell them is that the politicians supposed to show us the money, not to tell us what to think, how to think, and how to live. And we are the people, and we want the money.